We'll watch for Larson. Here it comes through, and he just overcooks the corner, turns over. But of course, on this kind of surface, there's always soft landings. You don't tend to hurt yourself too much if you turn over. Still Geelan leading. The sand cuts up very deep and rough, and you've got to get your line right. There is the cameraman left of your picture, who's just gone out of our frame. You'll see him now. If again you spot the number plate, he is number 0. He is 0 on his bike. They don't get him confused with the actual competitors. There's the battle. It looks like Turk is going to make his move again down the straights. And there is the cameraman on the inside. And Turk, it looks as though went through there. Turk, here he is. Now he seems to have the legs. That's the difference. Turk has the acceleration on the flats, and Geelan seems to have the skill over the jump. So it's a very, very interesting pattern of racing. It's the leader, Geelan, number 5, remember. And again, it looks like he's going to make his move over the bumps, and he's moved back into the lead. Fascinating stuff. It's a big crowd here. It's a pop festival as well here on Veronica Beach. It's one of the big major sporting events in Holland of the year. Now you can see they actually just hop up onto the promenade around a chicane here for a few kilometres. But the surface seems to come all the same to Hans Geelan. He leads. Turk is second. In third place there, number 2, is Frans van der Borg from Holland. Henk Baars, number 12, showing. We just got a glimpse of him a second ago. Here's the leader. There's the cameraman going with him for those close-ups that really take you in the thick of the action. There is the difference between second and third. Turk 7.78 of a second ahead of Van den Berg of Holland. Really has tremendous control, Hans Geelan, and these buggies aren't the easiest craft in the world to ride. You've got to get your drive right, and it's getting very deep there. Number 3, Don Turk, in second place, led early on, but Geelan's skill and control over the jumps, and it looks as though Van den Berg has now moved up into second place. You can get into trouble here. You can get into the deep sand, and you can very swiftly go down the field. If you stop or need to restart or just overcook a corner or a bump, you can very quickly find that half a dozen guys have gone roaring by. There's the beachscape, and there's the leader. Hans Geelan going well. He was second in the first race, remember, so as the checkered flag comes out, he's going to win this race. Over the line he goes. Good winner there, made his ability tell over the jumps. Over the line there, 2 in second place, Van den Berg, and now the field come piling in. So we move into our second race, the third on the card. And it's a Napoleonic start with the guns, but it's the charge of the heavy brigade. Another war, but another cliche. There's the leader. Looks like Turk's gone in front again. Look for Kevin Phillips, the Englishman. He's number 10. He's in the pink leathers, and he's taking a high, wide line right around the lapping sea there. He's up with the leaders. Turk is there. Geelan's there as they space out. This is the second race. And once again, it is Hans Geelan who has moved into the lead, and that again is a great shot as they absolutely hammer along the seafront. They come charging down through the gears as they turn and then hit the steeplechase course. Marvellous pictures. Geelan, as we thought. Turk is second again, so it's almost the identical pattern as the second race, our first we've just seen. There's the field. Geelan in front. Second place there is Turk. There is Geelan, and he is flat out. You see the helicopter for those high shots there, and here's one of them, giving us a fascinating contrast in pictures and some sense of the speed and the excitement and the skill that's required in this discipline of motorcycle sport. Well, it is Turk again who's moved up. He's number 3, and Geelan's back in second place. And once again, it's that same kind of story that Don Turk, the American, does seem to have the legs on the flat, but Geelan makes his moves over these jumps, and it looks like he's doing the same thing again. Crowd lining here. It's a massive crowd. They really enjoy the fun of the fair here in Scheveningen. Veronica Beach. There is the seafronts. There is the difference between second and third. Turk is second. Vandenberg again is third, but it's Geelan up front. Needs very observant marshals here, because it's very easy if you have a faller or tail enders clogging up for the course to become blocked. Geelan picking his way through. Turk there is in second place. Then we have a few tail enders, the fun riders, who just enjoy coming out to hump and bump around here. They're all very well disciplined. They tend not to get in the way, and they're aware when the pros are on their heels and normally move over to let them through. Well, the caption spells it out. Hans Geelan in control of this third heat. Turk is second. Number 2 there, Vandenborg is third. You see the difference between them. But you can get yourself into a lot of trouble on these beaches, and it's very, very easy to make up a lot of ground if a rival does hit the real deep stuff, or indeed runs into the sea. One of the fun riders, and being ruthlessly pushed aside, looked like Henk Pennings, number 172 from Holland there, and the pros don't stand on very much ceremony here. Checkered flag comes out again, and once again it is Geelan who has won this race. Turk again, third place is Vandenborg, almost going over the inner edge. So let's have a look at the placings, and here they come with the winner Geelan from Holland, second place Van der Laan, at third Dutchman Van der Berg, and just UK rider Kevin Phillips interrupting the Dutch domination. A break now. We'll be back with the 250s after this one. .50cc classification. Let's have a look at some of the star starters. A massive field, but here are the riders to watch for. Number 1, Gubers from Belgium. Number 2, Vandenberg from Holland, 22 years old. 27-year-old Combe, Leo Combe. Number 5 is Jackie Martens. Number 8 there, Gert Jan van Doorn. Number 10, Dave Strabos. Number 11, American Ricky Ryan. Number 14, Shane Drew from Canada. Number 18, a Japanese, there we saw him. Number 25, Mike Jones. And finally the Russian champion, Andrei Ledikov. The 5-second warning, the gun goes, and away we go, and the sand flies, the throttles roar. It is chaos out there. Who leads? It looks like the Canadian has swept in there. It looked like Drew went flying through our frame. It's a massive field here, and even the photographers are moving out of the way. There is trouble at the back. The traffic is clogged up. There, number 14, that is Drew. He is in the front for Canada. and that's a little bit of a surprise as the field closes in on him. Giebers is there. Gerard Zundorf, we notice, number 47, weren't expecting him to do much. He's moved up as they hit the straight, and they are flat out. The Waves lapping in here now. They used to mix up the 500 and 250cc, but this year they're doing, there's the battle up front, and it is tight, isn't it? Number 1 is Giebers, he's in front. Second place looked like Drew from Canada, number 14, and in third place Gerard Zundorf from Holland, number 47. That was the order as they hit these jumps, and they become airborne. Now they're going to make this an official classification next year, the FIM, so this is why we're concentrating on the 250cc. There is a faller, but it has to be said, in this kind of discipline of motorcycle sport, the sand does break their falls. You get very soft landings. Here are the leaders, and it is number 1, and that is Eric Giebers, who is on a Honda, very well known in European motorcycle sports. Giebers at all this with number 47, Gerard Zundorf. Well, he's a surprise. Number 21 going through, Jacob Barth. Now Barth is from Belgium. He's riding a KTM. Didn't really participate in the World Championships. There's the cameraman, number 0 on the front of his machine. But there is the leader, and it's Giebers, and he is looking very stylish. Down has a fallen, and that looked like Jacob Barth that went over very, very untidily there. Number 21 as they hit the jumps. This is the leader you're watching. There is Barth remounting, but he did go down with a frightful bang. Looks as though he's okay and is going to get back in the race, but I don't think he'll catch this man. And this is Giebers, and he is going strong. The high camera, as we pick through the back markers. Giebers is number 1, remember. They do tend to space themselves out. There is the leaderboard. Van Mierlo is third, number 20. And the Dutchman on the tail of the Belgian. And here is the leader, and it is the Belgian. And he broadsides the machine in there, that Honda, and he has terrific control because he hardly dabbed at all with the inside foot. He was in complete control, picking his way through the traffic, and really does seem to have an extra gear. Once again, there's the cameraman, has to make up some ground here to get back up with the leaders. They move up onto the promenade, onto the hard stuff, one could say. It gets a bit greasy up there. You can see it's very wet and puddly, so they have to be a little tentative, these riders, but they're all experts, and it is still Eric Giebers in front, and he doesn't seem to be troubled. Oh, Jan Beckers, number 16, seems to be picking his way through the field. Zundorf is still second, but we'll watch out for Beckers because he's making a move. We notice back down the field. Giebers still leading, doesn't seem to be in any trouble. There's Van Mierlo, and Van Mierlo has moved up. And he has taken the lead, so Giebers clearly in trouble over the jumps, and it was Van Mierlo, Henk Van Mierlo, and he's 20 years old. He's got a good record of this. He moved up and took advantage as Giebers hit some trouble back down the field, just out of our cameras. Is Beckers, and Beckers seems to have moved up into second place. It's fast and furious. Number 20, Henk Van Mierlo, has taken the lead. We do have a new leader, and Karel-Jan Beckers of Holland, the young man, does seem to have moved into second place. There is the confirmation. There's 11 seconds between them, so it's all happening out there. The field changing dramatically around this 5.5 kilometre Veronica beach course, the 9th staging of this beach festival, as they go over the checkered flag. The lead changed dramatically, and it was Henk van Mierlo who took advantage of the trouble to take the checkered flag with Beckers in second place. An interesting 250cc event. We even have trouble after the checkered flag at this form of sport. They're all piling in, and nobody's told them the race is over, lads. You can relax. Let's have a look at the result then. The winner then, number 20, Van Mierlo, second place Beckers. De Wit crept in third place, Van Asten in fourth, Giebers eventually finishing fifth, Van Dorn from Holland in sixth place. We're going to take a break. We'll be back for another 250 race. Don't miss that after this break. You can see the lineup there. It really is a massive lineup. 5.5 kilometres, remind you. The cannon goes, they emerge from the smoke again like something of a war scene, and roaring. It looks like Leo Combi has got away. It's so difficult to pick them out as this field comes through. There's about 200 starters down the field. There's a follow already, and they all seem to be having fun and games out there. Already we have trouble. Leo Combi, number 3 on a Honda, is in the lead, and the field goes piling through. And we have a spectacular faller down the field there. Difficult to pick him out, but somebody somersaulted in the most dramatic fashion. There he is flat out impossible to identify. Well, one of the fun riders, and it can't be very much fun if that happens to you. The high shot, and it looks as though our faller is, okay, number 3 is leading, that's Leo Combi. Across there, number 1 is Eric Giebers again. He led early on, you'll remember, in our first race. He's a bit unsteady there, and the leader here is Leo Combi. He, of course, on a Honda. And Combi there, 27, so really is a very experienced rider, right across all disciplines of motorcycle sport, on sand, over the scramble courses, motocross, the indoor stadiums. Really is a very popular form of entertainment on the continent, and they love it here in Holland. This beach racing is their speciality, and this festival is one of the great events of the year in the Low Countries. There's the leader already. He's picking off some back markers. Number 8 is Gert van Dorn, 6th in the first race. Watch for him, easy to identify in that yellow. And Van Dorn seems to have moved in front there, and he went speeding through. We never saw that. And that really was a dramatic move. He must have come from nowhere. That's one of the great joys of this form of sport. As we space out and look at the back markers, we turn and we find we've got a new leader. They move up from nowhere. It is unpredictable, and it's certainly the first guy who hops out who wins. Here is Gert van Dorn, and he is in front. He's 25 years old. He's dressed all in yellow. The cameraman goes through our picture there. He is good shot of him. Up onto the promenade, very greasy and sticky there. And here's the leader, Van Dorn, and he is going quite beautifully. Time to look back, and he's got quite a lead. Number 10, that's Dave Strabus, is in second place. And in third place, it is Combi, the early leader. He's number 3. It's such an unpredictable surface, and you can suddenly find some extra drive. You can suddenly dig in a foot deep. You really do have to have complete control and outstanding touch on the throttle. John Vandenberg, number 2, has moved up, and it could be that we have lost Giebers. Giebers, the number 1, has certainly dropped back. He's a bit unstable. Just watch as we go through the back markers. It's number 8 there, and that's Gert van Dorn, who is in front. Now the 2 riders in the yellow apparel are the ones to watch, and they really are flying through the field. That's Van Dorn and Strabos. Van cutting his way through and going with him, Dave Strabus. The marshals hold out the yellow flag. It's difficult to see where there is any extra trouble. You have to watch where you're going at all times in a field of this size and spectacle. Now the leaders going through. Watch for the yellow peril. You'll see the pair of them, and they are in the thick of the action, and right down the field you can see the back of your picture coming through over these jumps, and they clearly are a different class in the back markers, cutting through like knives through the field. 8 is Van Doorn, 10 is Strabos. Strabos almost hitting the promenade walk there as he gets up onto the hard, slippery surface. Once again, the leaders coming through the field. Number 8 left of your picture there, going over the jumps. The two of them almost together. It's getting quite close up front. Not much to choose between the two leaders. And they're coming hard is number 2, and that's John van der Berg. And he is in the lighter apparel, and he is making his move. All eyes on Van der Berg. He has crept up through the field. He's another Dutchman, of course. And while Strabos and Van Doorn seem to be looking for each other, it's Van der Berg that seems to be making the impact at the moment. It really is such a bumpy course. And of course these bikes have to be pretty sturdy models. John Vandenberg, number 2, and he has taken over in the lead, and we did think he was going strong. Van Doorn is second, and Vandenberg taking his time, picking his moment, came through there. He just got a glimpse of it. He's almost in trouble there with the back marker, and sweeps around the outside there, throwing sand and grit up into the crowd. And he really now has got the bit between his teeth. Time to look back. He picked his moments, and while the two riders in yellow, and that was Strabos and Van Doorn, were watching for each other, there they are going through. They tended both to overlook the fact that Vandenberg, number 2, was creeping up on them. He shows his moment. There is still the battle between the two yellow perils, but it's Vandenberg in front, and he's ridden a very clever tactical race. Very, very rutted and unpredictable. And it must be frustrating for the world-class pros, because there are a lot of fun riders in here and they must slow you down, although they are well-mannered and get out of the way if they can. We have a faller there. That might have been Giebers, we are thinking. As they go over the checkered flag, humping and bumping still. Vandenberg took his opportunity. There is the leaderboard as they finish. Van Doorn and Strabos. Giebers was in 4th place. Combe, the early leader, in 5th, and Hofstede from Holland, he finished in 6th place. So a clever tactical race from Vandenberg. After this break, the 3rd 250cc event. Final 250cc beach race here on the Dutch coast as the cannon sets them away, and that really is quite a picture. A real traffic jam, the sand flying and into the lead. The fast starting Eric Giebers, number 1, will watch for him. He does tend to get away quickly and then tends to get caught. It's an interesting discipline. Giebers in front early on, but we wonder how long he's going to stay there. Just looking down the field, the Dutch champion Gert van Doorn is there, and that's a terrific picture as they really stretch out. Van Doorn is there, Zundorf is there, Horstadt is there, and Strabos is down the field as well. So it's the favourites that are showing. Giebers made his usual fast start. The field tails out behind him along this flat, but now very gritty and rutted. Of course, number 49 is shown. Now, who's that? That's Klaus Hofstein. Now, he is a bit of a surprise packet. Number 3, Combe is in there. We saw him flourishing early in an earlier race. So all the big name Dutchman, the Belgian is in there, and it's going to be quite an event. Gert-Jan van Doorn, number 8, and he seems to be going strong. He is, of course, the Dutch champion, 4th in the world on motocross. Watch for him. He has the orange apparel. Giebers is still up with the leaders as they really start to dice here on the sandy shore of Scheveningen in Holland. Watch for number 8. There is Van Doorn, and he really is picking his way through very quickly indeed. The Dutch champion, an excellent rider. Number 8's there coming through the field. Over the jumps. And it's Gert-Jan van Doorn that the crowd are beginning to rise to as they rise, soar like seabirds over these humps. Van Doorn and Giebers together seems to be the leading two. They're all beginning to space out, and it is Van Doorn who leads. Giebers in second place. There's a faller. That's a very swift, evasive action. The riders, the oncoming riders, could have had very little sight of that fallen bike. No trouble though for Van Doorn. He leads it. Giebers is in second place, number 1. And down the field we look, and Strabos is there, Horstadt is still there, Zundorf is still there, all beginning to pick their way through and sort themselves out here in this third 250cc race at the Beach Festival. It really is a test of man and machine. You'll notice as they go over these nasty little bumps, the rear wheel leaves the ground as well as the front wheel over the higher bumps, and you can see that action again, and it was a very swift piece of evasive action by 2 oncoming riders. Van Doorn though looks in command, great throttle control, turns beautifully. There he is, there's a picture of him, good-looking lad. Gert-Jan van Doorn, twice the Dutch champion, so very, very experienced, and of course a massive favourite of the Dutch crowd. They are lined along the promenade. They've enjoyed really a great festival. They have pop music here as well, although we're not going to see much of that. There's too much action going on. And there is the leader, and there is Giebers in second place. Third place is Zundorf. It's going well, and has been very steady indeed. Really is getting deep on that left-hand turn there. If you get into that real deep stuff, it can slow you, it can stop you, and you'll find as you look up, virtually half the field's gone roaring by. We've seen so often at this discipline how very quickly the lead can change, and although Van Doorn seems to be in control at the moment, it's very, very easy to make a mistake and allow an awful lot of guys and an awful lot of machines past you. Strabos, number 10, is up with the leaders. Here is the pack. And these really are terrific pictures. You don't see sights like this on a Sunday afternoon when you're out motoring. Giebers, there's trouble at the back there, and a marshal risking life and limb to warn the riders. And Van Doorn picking off the back markers as though he's just taken them fruit from the trees. got daylight ahead. He has commanded this race right from the first half lap or so, and he does seem to be in command. There is the leaderboard: Van Dorn, Geber, Zundorf, Strybos, Van den Berg, who can make his move. We've seen him before. Hofstede is there, and the way is beginning to lap in, but it is Van Born who is riding, shall we dare say it, on the crest of the waves here. A reminder, of course, that this is a terribly popular form of motorsport, particularly in Holland, where they are specialists at it, but it is global, and we are expecting to see this made official into an FIM event next year. They race on the desert and on the beaches in California, and in the UK it's very popular in places like Ainsdale and on the north coast. There is the leader. You can see a lot of space. He's well clear. 2.34 ahead of Gebers in second place. So unless Van Dorn does something very silly, he should have this third race in the bag. Strybos going very well indeed. There's the leader. And just as we would let a back marker go through our frame, here he comes, duck out of the way. He might come through and hit you. Terrific pictures. Strybos going well. Number 10 there, left of your shot. Number 2, John van den Berg. Well, he always picks his way through, and he never gives up until the checkered flag is down. A little bit of trouble down the order, but not for Gert-Jan van Dorn from Holland, as the sun begins to set on the beach here, but he is on the ascendancy. Haven't seen a lot of the Americans here. They do tend to be outstanding in most disciplines of motorcycle sport. Of course, we have a Canadian too, Drew. He is here. But it has been the home riders who really have dominated, and of course the crowd are loving that. Van Dorn, still untroubled, still in control. Strybos is up there, seems to have moved into second place. Number 2, John van den Berg is there. Number 49, Hofstede, who has ridden a steady race, is up with the leading pack. Jacob Bach coming through, number 21. Leo Combe, number 3, will be disappointed. He was flourishing very much so early on. And here come the entire field. And it almost looks as though one of the riders has got a headlight on there, the light reflecting on his number plate. But still, it is Gert-Jan van Dorn, and the Dutch crowd are beginning to rise to him here, because he is going quite beautifully. Of course, twice the champion, so he knows all about this kind of activity, picking his way through the field. They're beginning to stop. The bikes are beginning to feel the pace. The men are beginning to feel the pace, but not Gert-Jan van Dorn, who is absolutely slicing through the back markers. 25-year-old, and way up in the elite class of riders in this kind of sport. And it will be interesting to work out just how many riders he passes as he goes past the back markers, because it must have been, he must have overtaken it, something like about 100 riders. Still going through them. Nobody's getting near him. And even the marshals there, you can see, thoroughly enjoying the action. Can be a pretty precarious job here, because these riders, particularly the less experienced riders, have been known to lose control and skittle a few marshals, but not this guy. Van Dorn picking his line, and you can see it is getting terribly tricky. There's like sand dunes there, so deep, and so unpredictable and so very easy to make a complete hash there. And you can see the difference. The leaderboard, the captain just shot through there, and Van Dorn has an absolutely dominating lead. There he goes, and he's even got time to wave and acknowledge the gallery. Van den Berg, and he certainly is not out of touch, and he does like to make a late run. Van Dorn having time to look around to see if there's any opposition. And this is where you really streamline and get down and stretch out. Helicopter pictures, sorting it out. Van Dorn it is, who goes hard around into first a slight right hand, then the left hand turn, and still chopping through the field over this 5.5 kilometer course. Inside one, outside the other, and it is the sign of a true master that he doesn't seem to be slowed down at all by the presence of the back markers. They can get in people's way, we have seen that so often, but Van Dorn always seems to have time to pick his line and do his overtaking and not get himself clogged up by one of the less experienced or skillful riders. In the middle of the field here, as they go over, there he is, getting his wheels pretty much in line as he hits the surface. There's so many of these guys who know they haven't got a hope of getting to the checkered flag first, but they really enjoy this sport. It's a fun ride as well as a competitive ride for so many of them, and it's a credit and compliment to them that they are so well disciplined. There's the leader again, picking again a course through the fun riders. They don't seem to mind really being stitched up or pushed aside as the pros go roaring past. Van den Berg, number 2, is very much up. In fact, he might just have caught Van Dorn. Van den Berg, there we mentioned earlier, he has moved into the lead as they pick their way through, and it is John Van den Berg, and we did warn you to watch for him because he does leave his effort late, and although Van Dorn seemed to be cruising, Van den Berg was always just in the picture, and he's moved into the lead. And Van Dorn, who was apparently cruising, must have wondered what hit him and where this guy came from. And now we really have a race on. There, we just saw a glimpse of Van den Berg going through and Van Dorn. And Van Dorn must be really kicking himself because perhaps we could accuse him of complacency. He seemed to be such a long way in front, and they're still battling there. Number 2 is John Van den Berg, and number 8 is Gert Van Dorn. There is the battle, and Van den Berg managed to adjust his visor. There's not much between them, perhaps a bike length. Got a real race on now, and And it is again Van Dorn that moves through, and they're swapping the lead. It changed 3 times there in the course of about a dozen yards. Tremendous action now. Vanden Berg, a real waiter, he picks his moment, and Van Dorn seems to be signalling to the other riders to get out of the way just when we thought that he was in total command, and it is very close. And there is Vanden Berg, number 2, in the lead, absolutely piling by, running, and it looks as though he's in trouble as well. Well, we have drama suddenly in this 250cc. As the course cuts up and the going gets really tough. There is Vanden Berg. We look back to see what has happened. And there's Van Dorn. And there's number 8, Van Dorn. So although Vanden Berg was certainly in some trouble, it doesn't look as though it's affected his overall placing. There is Vanden Berg, who crept up through the field. This is this rider's trademark, his hallmark. Not a quick starter. He takes his time. He keeps going. He's very strong. Must be absolutely packed with stamina and determination. We saw in an earlier race he did just as he's done in this 250cc event as they go over the checkered flag. It's a disappointed Van Dorn, who finishes second. The number 2, John Vanden Berg, who stole that 250cc event just when it looked as though Van Dorn had it absolutely wrapped up. Vanden Berg's persistence and tenacity paid through. He came through, he took his chances, he was in trouble, he recovered beautifully, and he really has ridden quite a magnificent race. The field straggle through. They've had a good time, they've enjoyed themselves. They may be bruised, they may be battered, they may be covered in sand. It's going to be a long job cleaning those machines, because the sea and the sand really play havoc with moving parts. But they're all determined, like marathon runners, to finish the course. Strybos we see going through there. Number 10, there he is. The Dutch, of course, such masters, Dutch masters indeed, at this motorcycle discipline. And still the field pour in. Well, they'll have a pint and they'll talk about their deeds on the beach here at Shevingham. Never mind winning, it's fun and it's a challenge just to finish the course in one piece. And these are the real grassroots of motorcycle sport. They're enthusiasts, they love their fun and games. They just adore getting out on that beach and just riding for the sheer excitement and exhilaration. They know they've got little chance of glory, but they just enjoy their day. So the race result, as we have seen the drama unfold, the winner, number 2, John Vanden Berg from the Netherlands. In second place, Gert-Jan Van Dorn, twice the Dutch champion, who looked to have the race wrapped up and was caught in the later stages. In third place, it was number 21, Jacob Bath. Fourth place, number 47, always in touch there, Gerard Zundorf. Fifth place, Karel Jan Beckers. And in sixth place, Leo Combi. And it's an indication of the dominance of the Dutch that they filled the first 11 places in that race. Overall, the standings, well, John Vanden Berg's win there takes him into third place overall. Gert Vanden Dorn, despite that disappointment, still leads the overall placings. Second place, Karel Jan Beckers. Third is Vanden Berg. Fourth place, Henk van Mero. And Leo Combi, Jacob Bath, Dave Strybos, and the first non-Dutchman in the overall places. In eighth place is Peter Ivan from Belgium. So the Dutch have good reason to celebrate. The amateurs have had a lot of fun in games. We really hope you have enjoyed the action. In the future, this 250cc category is going to become official, so we look forward to bringing a lot more action your way in the future. It's going worldwide. We might even have rounds from Tokyo. So until the next time, this is Dave Lanning saying, hope you've enjoyed the fun and games of sand racing from Scheveningen, Veronica Beach in Holland.